He's not going to give up the 5th personal foul.
Expect Denny Crum's kids to continue to pound it inside if they're going to get that kind of position. Thomas wants to stay in this ballgame. Going to have to be careful, though, on the offensive end.
Gibson the dish. Here's Shields. Gibson looking inside, trying to get into Thomas Olney, and he got grabbed as he was heading down the lane. And that might be, yes it is, the foul's on Alvin Sims. That's his 4th.
Good positioning. We saw it Friday night. Sanders down low, simple left-handed jump hook. Thomas doesn't want to challenge him.
So Alvin Sims, who played a long time with 2, picks up 2 in about 35 seconds.
That was 6 minutes. I think he'll sit a couple of minutes.
Royce Olney steps to the line.
Sims, a Conference USA Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. One of the guys Bob Huggins says can guard any player on the court. Pretty valuable to have on your team,
I guess. 10 points for Olney, who's done a fine job off Dave Bliss's bench. We're back to a 2-point game. DeJuan Wheat with a look over to Denny Crum. Over the top, picked off by Thomas. Loose ball to Gibson. Lobos can tie a go-ahead with the 3.
Not a good pass.
Shield. Only the offensive rebound. Long into the paint. Throws it up with the left hand. He'll get to the line.
Time and time again, Lamont Long has been able to break down defenders and get inside the paint area. On the offensive end, Dantzler made a lob pass, and nobody's got to take up the slack in order to get that ball inside.
3rd personal foul for Nate Johnson. And we have got a 20-second timeout. With
60. And they hold their own.
Well, both teams are doing a good job of staying just close enough so that they have a chance at the end. But Clemson has had missed opportunities. We talked about that already. 20 offensive rebounds in the game and only 8 points off of those rebounds.
And a pass off the hands of McIntyre. The guards for Clemson
has been outstanding off Denny Crum's bench so far this afternoon. New Mexico trying to get over that hurdle and get themselves to the Sweet 16. And a lot of folks have made the trip from Albuquerque. You combine St. Patrick's Day with the 1st and 2nd round games, and Pittsburgh has been a fun place to be the last few days.
Yeah, what a great atmosphere in this building, Mike. Sellout crowds both sessions.
Yeah, a lot of credit to the folks here in Pittsburgh. This has been sold out since January, and Long missing the 1st. All fouls on Louisville will be 2-shot fouls the rest of the way. New Mexico with just 6.
That's 2 in a row, now 2 of 4. The freshman has missed 3 in a row.
And the push, I believe, on Clayton Shields. And Long holding his head as he walks up the other end. Dave Bliss encouraging his kids.
Trying to tell him stay in there. Got to keep the freshman's head up. Continue to play as well as he is playing.
Shields picks up his 3rd personal foul. And Damian Dantzler, just a 58% free throw shooter on the season. At the line, 1-1.
Westinghouse High School out of Chicago. Mark McGuire, Hershey Hawkins, and Illinois star Kejuan Garris was a teammate of Damian Dantzler there.
Dantzler leads Denny Crum's team in block shots.
Those look pretty good for 58%.
He nearly brought rain, but he got him to fall.
Had a lot of fouls called lately, Mike. Hasn't been much of a flow the last 2 minutes for either team. Boy, this kid's terrific.
To the basket.
Dantzler cannot chest him that far away from the basket. Long just took him right off the dribble, easy layup.
And how about the confidence level after missing those free throws?
Kid likes to put it on the floor. He is looking to drive the ball. I think I would make him try to hit a jump shot with a hand in his face.
Nate Johnson, he has been kind of quiet here. Gets it inside to Sanders. Sanders has got Shields on him. The up and under by Sanders, no. Slaps the rebound out, and it's controlled by the Cardinals.
You know, we haven't seen anything different besides a left-handed hook, the jump hook down low. If you're guarding Sanders down low, get on that right shoulder of his backs to the basket, make him turn the other direction.
Here's Dantzler trying to work on Thomas.
Good defense. Oh, great help and recover by the Lobos, and now the foul by Olney. On the penetration once again by B.J. Flynn.
That'll be 3 on Olney.
How about Lamont Long? We have talked about it time and time again. Weak side defense not there. Loves to put the ball on the floor.
Should never put graphics like that. Ever, ever, ever.
Yeah, that figures. They run the high pick and roll. Thomas again has to watch out for setting the illegal screen.
Olney wants to go to Thomas. Olney behind the screen. Back rims the 3. Rebound taken down by the smallest man on the floor, DeJuan Wheat.
Well, when you get under 5 minutes, it's now become a possession game, Mike. Each team, neither one is running out. They're all looking to get in the half-court set and score. Good defense by Gibson on Wheat.
Absolutely.
Stayed on his feet. Wheat will use his jump shot as a weapon. He will fake pulling the ball up and get you off your feet to draw contact.
Under 4 minutes now to play. Inside, foul over the back on Long.
Freshman on freshman, 2 of the finest in the country.
That is just the first on Lamont Long.
Johnson with the bigger, stronger body down low, 6'6", 205. Long only about 6'4", a thin 170.
Here is Nate Johnson, the Conference USA Freshman of the Year.
Do they get Kenny Thomas or Olney on this one? I think they got Kenny Thomas.
Yeah, they do, and he's gone.
Oh, again, one of those frustrating fouls at simple on the free throw line.
Wow.
On the first of a 1-and-1. Dantzler had faked inside, and Thomas nailed it. Take a look on the left side of your screen. There's the step in, and I think a little bit of an acting job. A small little bump, but Dantzler went down.
Let's see.
Take a look at the step in, the raise up, and Dantzler just kind of goes down. Smart play. They don't see it up close.
So Nate Johnson now will shoot the second half of the 1-and-1. What a huge turnaround here. He does his part. Thomas can only watch.
Only a sophomore. He's had two terrific years in that uniform, but NCAA play has been full of foul trouble in all 4 ball games in both years.
And that foul was the 10th personal foul, so Dantzler has all the pressure off. As we said, just a 58% free throw shooter. Is now 3 for 3.
Louisville 83% from the line on the ball game.
Wow. And it's a 4-point trip. It's a 6-point game, and Thomas will not play.
Clemson by 1. 6 minutes remaining. Code in the lane, got a foul, and he gets the drop.
From our angle, it looked like Coley had his hand on top of the ball with the slap, but the officials are calling a foul. It was a nice drive as Code goes to the middle. Look at the hand on the hip, but the slap, again, it looks like it's on top of the ball, but give Merrill Code a lot of credit for taking that big shot in the middle with just a little head fake to get the clearance.
O'Shea Seals back in as Eric Coley has fouled out for Tulsa. And And in the second half, the Clemson offense has been taken over by their guards. McIntyre has scored 8 and Code 10 in the second half.
You go with the hot hand. It doesn't matter who has it, outside or inside. It happens to be on the perimeter for the Tigers right now.
And Weidman of Clemson picks up a foul. His 4th and the team's 6th. Freshman Eric Coley, the first player to foul out today. One would suspect not the last.
Not with a game like this. Coley is a terrific defender. That's what they're going to miss, his presence on the defensive end.
Shea Seals on the floor now, and one would expect he's out there for the duration.
As long as he can, and certainly start looking for some offense.
Let's see, and that one doesn't go, but a foul called on Clemson. A little bit of hesitation there on the call, and there everyone was unsure whether Gendron was going to be called for pushing off with his left arm.
Both coaches were holding their breath, waiting to see which way this call was going to go. Take a look at Gendron. Look at his left hand. To me, that's an obvious push-off, but they call it the other way.
And wound up the hesitation.
We are back for the final 3 minutes and 53 seconds of this one here in Pittsburgh. Mike Gorman along with John Sungold as we take a look at our game summary. Free throw shooting has trailed off a little bit in the second half. If you weren't with us in the first half, everybody was 100% in the first half.
Solid D, points off turnovers. Only 11 turnovers, though, for New Mexico, but Louisville knows how to take it from the defense to the offense quickly.
Long kicks it back out, and possession's now very important in this 6-point game for the Lobos.
Dantzler just wants to contain Gibson out front. Mismatch inside.
Shields fakes it. Now he'll take it. Short. Oh, nice tip by Smith.
Little mismatch in size there. Smith at 6'4", guarded by Weed at 6 feet, plus he's got the long reach. Weed's got to keep him away from the basket, put a body on him.
Denny Crum really directed traffic over there on the Louisville sideline. Here's Weed.
Strictly a possession game now. What can you get on the offensive end?
Gibson a good job denying Weed. He has to come deep for it. Weed off the dribble, takes it. In and out. Rebound ripped off by Shields. Over the head to Long. Cross court, Smith.
Louisville quickly back, though, defensively. New Mexico looked to have a break early, but nothing there.
The foul is going to be on Alex Sanders in the paint, trying to hold off Daniel Santiago.
Good free throw shooter, nearly 79% as he goes to the line.
And a 20-second timeout is taken by Denny Crum with 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the game. And his Cardinals up by 4.
Denny Crum into this ball game.
Getting the message across to Alex Sanders.
Too important not to get the message, but here I talk about mismatch in the really size and reaching ability. The tip in by Smith, and here's the reaction on the sideline. Kenny Thomas can only sit and hope. Dave Bliss likes that. Kenny Thomas with a pump of the fist.
Thomas hoping that he has at least another game left in the season. And we've got some games left here this afternoon. Coppin State and Texas will be coming up here in Pittsburgh. Temple and Minnesota. Clem Haskins and John Chaney. Great battle there.
Well, the Longhorns in the next game will feel like they are really on the road. Feel like they're in a Big 12 conference opponents building. Yes. The way this crowd is taken to Coppin State.
Santiago 1 of 2. It is a one-possession game, though. It's 62-59. We are under 3.
Last time down, Louisville got the shot they wanted. Weed on Gibson. He just missed it. Gibson denied well. Good backdoor. Not a good pass by Sanders. Can't take that chance with 2.5 minutes left. Only throw it if it is really wide open.
Alvin Sims still over there on the Louisville bench.
Still waiting defensively, though. Flynn has done a nice job, and offensively has caused things to happen. Smith
shut off by the freshman Johnson. Smith off the dribble. Lost it momentarily. Keeps it alive.
Louisville switches a lot of the screens so the guards can stay out top.
Shields a little screen for Smith.
Good job by Dantzler, yeah.
Smith pulls up. Front rims it. Gets his own miss. The bump. Short. Rebound. Out of bounds. Last touch by Santiago.
How many times have we seen it? The switch out Dantzler on Smith, misses it. Dantzler forgets to block out. Smith had another opportunity but missed again.
Bozak Smith back on the floor for Louisville, and Sanders to the bench.
Full court pressure now. Token man-to-man pressure by New Mexico. Easily handled by Wheat.
We are under 2 minutes to play in the game. Louisville's got the ball and a 3-point lead. A spot in the Sweet 16 at stake.
Pick down for Wheat.
Johnson nearly traveled on the catch. Here's Wheat. They get it to Dantzler. Dantzler dipping the shoulder out to Smith. Deep to Wheat. 8 on the shot clock. Wheat has to give it up. Johnson off the side of the glass. Shields.
2 on 1.
Smith, he's got long. He takes it himself. He'll get to the line.
Great play, defensive play, smart play by DeJuan Wheat. All Charles Smith has to do is throw just a little bit of a lob, and they have an easy dunk. DeJuan Wheat makes the grab right here. Smith's teammate is next to him for the easy layup if he gives it to him earlier.
Third personal foul for DeJuan Wheat. Alvin Sims is going to come back in. Charles Smith with 14 points at the free throw line. Makes the first. One minute, 19 seconds to go in a 2-point game here in Pittsburgh. Smith makes them both. He's got 16. And we've got a timeout called by the Lobos of New Mexico. Don't go away. It's a 1-point game.
Rick Barnes told us he was going to send several different players at Shea Seals. We saw Tony Christie earlier, Vincent Witt. Now we're seeing Greg Buckner just mirroring Shea Seals all over the court, making him try to work to get open. I think they've come out with a terrific game plan, but execution is the key to making it work.
1 point in the game for Shea Seals. Tulsa with the ball, down 3. A lot of scoring in this half by the guards. Thompson and Gendron for Tulsa. Code and McIntyre for Clemson. Shot clock down. And a miss by Rod Thompson. A rebound, Greg Buckner.
Clemson's doing a much better job here in the second half of boxing out Tulsa, not letting them get multiple shot opportunities.
Buckner, will he try to take Seals in?
A lot more patience being shown right now by the Tigers.
And a steal. Ruffin knocked the ball away.
Great hands.
So Tulsa with the ball. Down 3.
Possessions are going to be a premium. Let's see if the Golden Hurricane can find it inside.
Rod Thompson to Michael Ruffin. And now it's a 1-point game.
This is a great defensive effort by Michael Ruffin. He closes out. Not only does he knock the ball away, but he comes up with the possession. That's huge. And also is on the receiving end of a great pass to add to this ball game. Only a 1-point game with 2.5 to go.
So now what has happened, we have a clock malfunction. The game clock at one end above one of the baskets has gone down. There you see the game clock should be seen.
Yes, big comedy Monday.
79 seconds to play here in Pittsburgh. All fouls will be 2-shot fouls. Louisville with 2 timeouts. New Mexico 1. And the Cardinals have the arrow.
New Mexico defensively has taking away a lot of options for Louisville on the offensive end. Not allowing good shots. Last 4 possessions, Louisville struggled. The clock has run down on them. They have forced up some bad looks.
Johnson, the freshman, will inbound. He gets it right back, looking to put the ball in the hands of DeJuan Wheat, and he does.
Good double team by New Mexico. Makes someone else handle the basketball besides DeJuan Wheat. Good job by the senior, though, of coming back and getting the ball.
Louisville can take it under a minute.
Oh, terrific play.
Great block, but the follow is there. Sanders the basket.
Terrific set play and a half-court set by Denny Crum out of the timeout.
It is still a 1-possession game, though, and the Lobos have the ball down 3. Long. Smith wanted it sooner in the corner. Gibson over the top to Santiago. He gets the bucket, and he gets the bucket.
Oh, what a hoop by Big Santiago.
I thought he was going to get a foul, too. 64-63. 3-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
Louisville with their free throw shooters handling the ball. Flynn and Wheat.
And the timeout is called by DeJuan Wheat. Good trap by Gibson and Long right out there in that little triangle at half court that you don't want to get caught in.
Enterprise.
Well, in Kansas City, a terrific battle between Tulsa and Clemson. It has been brutally physical throughout. The game has been played at Clemson's pace, and Terrell McIntyre puts it down to put the Tigers back in front.
That was a lot of confidence by McIntyre to go in with a little spin move. Got in the air and used his athleticism. Only 5'9", but a great opportunity, but a big shot.
Shea Seals with the ball for Tulsa. He has scored only 1 point today. Seals being played by Buckner. And an air ball for 3, and here comes Clemson.
He's still forcing the issue, trying to take that big shot, but he cannot find it because Clemson continues to have a defender in his face.
And now Clemson will take a 20-second timeout with 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining. And a 2-point lead.
That should have been a violation. Clemson had the ball in the backcourt with a 35-second shot clock. We're looking at 25. The ball was still in the backcourt.
Now, there's been a very close game. The largest lead in the ball game has been 7 points, which Tulsa had early in the second half. Today, Tulsa has had to do it for the most part without their All-American Shea Seals. He has been plagued by fouls and has been very much a non-factor in this game. Just 1 point.
But other players for the Golden Hurricane have stepped it up.
And again, here's that spot, Derek, where Clemson scores 2 possessions. The way this game has been played is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Tulsa has to not only defend, but they have to come up with a rebound.
And there's a foul. That's one of the few times today we've seen Tulsa use their patented trap of the ball. And it wound up being a foul that will put Iturbe of Clemson at the line.
Well, we saw Tulsa this second half try to...
Louisville by 1. I want to take a look at DeJuan Wheat as he turns the corner. Received a ball pick screen by Sanders. The great block from Charles Smith coming weak side, but Sanders on the follow-up continued to go to the basket. The reaction, it is March Madness. On the other end, they're down 3. They go inside to Santiago. Maybe not the option Louisville was thinking about. Good bucket, got bumped, almost drew another foul.
Johnson gets it into Wheat's hands. Lobos want a trap. Skip pass to Sims. Back out to Flynn. May have to give the foul here. Traveling violation. Lobos get the ball down.
Enterprise will
To trap the ball. Flynn was caught in the half-court line, nowhere to go.
We've got a timeout. 16 on the clock. New Mexico will have it when we get back.
Full timeout taken by Tulsa. And now, Iker Iturbe, a sophomore from the Basque region of Spain. Came over and actually attended high school in suburban Minneapolis. And now has a chance to give Clemson a 4-point lead. He's shooting a 1-and-1. for the year, a 43% foul shooter.
They've made 1 or 2 today.
And the rebound out of bounds off Michael.
Be Louisville ball on any kind of tied-up possession. Smith will inbound directly in front of us. Gets it to Gibson. Weak there defensively.
Long is very good off the dribble with his penetration.
Here's Long. They get it in the hands of Smith. Smith back out. Gibson. Gibson. A floater. No. Rebound. Flynn. Time's going to run out. It does. Louisville wins.
What a defensive stop by the Cardinals. Denny Crum thought there was time left on the clock, wanted his players off the floor, but this game is over. Now he can celebrate.
A heartbreaking loss for Dave Bliss and his New Mexico Lobos. And Denny Crum now 13-5 in the second game of NCAA tournament will take his club to the Sweet 16.
Second half explosion by Louisville out of the locker room. They did a nice job defensively.
Kansas City, Clemson by 2, and the man they want at the line, senior Merle Code.
3 minutes and 53 seconds, only 2 points since Kenny Thomas fouled out, but they hung on. Terrific on the defensive end. Very unselfish ball club. One of the reasons why this team advances.
And Louisville is on their way to Syracuse. 17 Sweet 16 appearances for the Louisville Cardinals. Let's take it back to Pat O'Brien in New York.
2 games completed. Let's go right to Kansas City now. Kemper Arena, where Clemson leads Tulsa 58-55. A physical game. Let's go courtside with Ted Robinson, Derek Dickey.
Code. 4-point game. Ball knocked away, saved by Tulsa. Gendron. Seals. Script going up. And finally a whistle and a foul on Clemson.
Maldonado's down underneath the basket. Gendron had a chance to go in for a layup. Instead, he steps behind the three-point line. And as the shot goes up, take a look at Maldonado, and he gets hit, it looks like, by his own player. Shea Seals might have gotten him with a left elbow. Look at Maldonado, number 50, underneath the basket. As he's going for this loose ball, he's going to catch a left hand by his teammate.
In Kansas City, Clemson by 4. 36.9 seconds remaining. Tom Whiteman of Clemson has just fouled out of the ball game after an 11-rebound performance. Michael Ruffin of Tulsa eventually is going to be at the foul line, but we have still Maldonado of Tulsa down beyond the baseline. And if you haven't seen much of this game, this really is the story. It has been an unbelievably physical battle with several players getting the worst of it today.
Look underneath. Watch Shea Seals as he gets the ball stripped out of his hand. His left hand catches Maldonado. It appears somewhere in the eye area.
Maldonado had to leave the game earlier after getting elbowed in the chest. Terrell McIntyre of Clemson was cut for 4 stitches over his left eye in the first half.
So it has been just a little physical down inside.
This is the first game of the day in Kansas City. The winner goes to San Antonio next week. And coming up next here, the #1 seed, the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. A legion of thousands of Minnesotans have made the way to Kansas City. And they'll watch the Gophers play Temple coming up next. Iowa State and UCLA have already made it to the Midwest Regionals in San Antonio next weekend.
A huge win by Iowa State yesterday, upsetting Cincinnati.
And UCLA has played great basketball the last month.
Yes, they have, and a lot of people don't give them credit for their defense. They're a very superior offensive team, but defensively they've done a great job.
Well, here's where Tulsa has been hurt today. They are 13 for 27 at the line.
Wow, that's less than 50%. And if they had made free throws, they could have had control of this game.
And Michael Ruffin misses both. And now Clemson in command. McIntyre. Christie. And a held ball arrow to Clemson. And that was really not a good play by Terrell McIntyre.
No, it wasn't. Actually a very dangerous play, trying to make a high lob pass into traffic. Why would you risk that? You don't need to take a shot. All you need to do is get the ball in your front court.
Well, McIntyre made up for the mistake by coming in and tying up the ball, getting possession back. Now Buckner is fouled with 26 seconds to play. And Rick Barnes immediately calls McIntyre over to the bench to ask him about that lob. What were you thinking about?
Guys, we don't have to score. All we need to do is run time off the clock. That's what we have to have. We need the win. We don't need more points or fancy plays in this ball game.
LA. Third player has fouled out of the game now. It is Tulsa's Zach Bennett. Harold Jamison coming back in for Clemson. Bennett, redshirt freshman, 9 points today. Nice lift off the Tulsa bench.
Greg Buckner, second team All-ACC this year against Miami in the first round. He had 22 points and 9 rebounds in that ball game.
Well, there's a big story. Clemson has been the team that, as of late, has been struggling terribly at the line. But today, Tulsa left a lot of points there.
We always talk about guys. We talk about teams that are money players, and Clemson has stepped up big. Even though they didn't shoot a great field goal percentage today, they were the aggressor. They initiated the action. They got to the free throw line, and they made enough to get control of this game.
And now a 6-point lead. Shea Seals bringing it up. He has scored only 1 point today. Well, Clemson will give him that. 4-point lead, though. Still a 2-possession game with a Tulsa timeout. 19 seconds remaining. It is Clemson by 4 in Kansas City. 4 with 19 seconds to play in Kansas City. Our genuine Chevrolet players of the game are Johnny Gendron from Tulsa with 15 points and Terrell McIntyre of Clemson with 14. Clemson to win down the ball. Leading by 4. Iturbe gets it in, and McIntyre is fouled right away. And that will be the 5th foul against Johnny Gendron.
Well, it's already a 2-possession game as far as the Golden Hurricane are concerned, and Clemson gets a chance to extend this lead with 2 more free throw attempts. But I really want to credit Rick Barnes and his staff. They've done a terrific job. We saw them in the first round shut down Devin Davis from Miami University, not allow him to become a factor in the game. And today, Shea Seals, they allowed him only 3 points in this game, just receiving his first field goal a few seconds ago.
A nice game for Gendron, a sophomore. John Cornwell getting instructions as he'll come in from Steve Robinson. But I think really you look at one team being able to exert its will on another team, Derek, and Clemson's opponents only score 60 points a game. Tulsa has been averaging closer to between 80 and 90, and the game's going to end up being a Clemson score.
And you talked about this earlier, Ted, that Clemson wanted to keep the score low. They wanted to maintain possessions, try to take advantage. The game was ugly early in terms of both teams missing a lot of shots, but Rick Barnes' philosophy was, guys, be patient, get to the free throw line. We know we're going to be fouled. We just have to concentrate and make the majority.
And the Tigers having a great day at the foul line. Adrian Crawford. And a tip in for Tulsa. And a timeout taken by the Golden Hurricane. All they have left is a 20, so that's what this will be. In a 4-point game.
Shea Seals able to sneak in and get another field goal to his credit, but it certainly is a little bit too late, but he's only getting it as a result of the helter-skelter and no one guarding him nose on nose.
Something to look at, Derek, if indeed this happens now. Is Clemson in good shape here? If it is indeed Clemson and Minnesota in San Antonio, they played in Puerto Rico in the tournament back in November. Played a very competitive game. Minnesota won 75-65.
And that was a neutral court. Neither team had a home court advantage.
Adrian Crawford fouling Merle Code of Clemson.
Minnesota has to get by a very tenacious matchup zone defense by John Chaney.
And if somehow that were to happen, if Temple could pull off the upset today, Clemson's going to have a little insider knowledge against in a potential Temple game. Johnny Miller, after 2 years of playing for John Chaney at Temple, transferred as a member of the Clemson program this year. Well, he's going to be able to help figure that matchup zone out.
You and I saw him 2 years ago as a player. He is a terrific scorer and an excellent outside shooter.
Adrian Crawford missing, and then a foul over the back on Ruffin. And now they celebrate on the Clemson bench. Rick Barnes came to Kansas City never having won a game in the NCAA tournament. He'll leave with 2. And Clemson's going to gas up their plane here and go right to San Antonio.
That's Rick Barnes' first Sweet 16 appearance, and he should be awfully proud of his team. Only 2 seniors on this ball club. They returned all 5 starters from last year, and that's not even counting Merrill Code, who was unable to play in last season's postseason.
Clemson made the Sweet 16 in 1990, the last time that happened. And now the Tulsa side giving a great ovation to Shea Seals, who leaves the court for the last time in a Tulsa uniform. A very difficult day today. Just 3 points, hampered by fouls early.
Has a chance to continue his play, but Tulsa's all-time leading scorer.
5 points total today for Shea Seals. But Rick Barnes now has his chance to celebrate, and the Clemson Tigers are going to San Antonio. They are the 3rd team to advance out of the Midwest region. Terrell McIntyre with a terrific second half, ending up with 16 points. And Clemson wins it 65-59 here in Kansas City. And next up, the #1 seed, Minnesota. They'll play Temple and John Chaney's great matchup zone. So Clemson advances here in Kansas City. And now let's go back to New York and Pat O'Brien.
All right, Ted, Clemson's first Sweet 16 trip in 7 years, so the celebrating will commence. Let's go back to Charlotte now, where Illinois trails by a point against Chattanooga in a back-and-forth game. 5:16 left in this ball game at Charlotte Coliseum. And they've got a timeout there. And, Clark, this has been a back-and-forth game all day long.
We anticipated this would be a close matchup. Again, these teams match up evenly like they're doing on the perimeter. Tennessee Chattanooga has a guy, Johnny Taylor, who could be a mid-level first-round pick. Very versatile guy. Their backcourt guys, Willie Young in foul trouble. Keywan Garris has to step up big for Illinois.
Okay, it's the only active game right now, so let's send you out there. 5:18 left in the half.
5:15 and counting. Tennessee Chattanooga, 14th seed, trying to do something no other Southern Conference school has ever done, and that is make it to the round of 16 in the NCAA tournament. Illinois out of the Big Ten, a 6th seed, and Turner turns it over. And Tennessee Chattanooga only able to force 7 turnovers today, but they have managed to get the Illinois front line in foul difficulty. Gandy and G both on the floor now for Illinois, playing with 4 fouls. And Johnson leaves the game, and Kevin Turner sits down.
Poor defensive recognition by Mike Hellman. UT Chattanooga was in a boxing 1 then, and Hellman did not recognize it and get his team in the appropriate offense.
Since starting the half, 5 for 6 from the floor, the Illini have gone 2 for 13 and 3 minutes without scoring. Tennessee Chattanooga by 1. Pick and roll, defended well by Illinois. Taylor, crossover, count it. 10 in the game for Johnny Taylor. Senior star from Chattanooga, Tennessee, not recruited out of high school, went to junior college, grew 4 inches in 1 year, and has elevated his level of play. Young creating havoc for Garris. but Kewan able to recover.
Once again, Illinois has failed to recognize that UT Chattanooga's in a box-and-one defense.
Mims has a dozen rebounds today.
It'll be interesting to see how long it'll take the Illinois players to recognize what defense UT Chattanooga's in. They're playing man-to-man on Kewan Garris and a four-man matchup zone.
Young gets pushed near the inline. Garris now has 4. So Young with 4, Garris with 4. That's a standoff along the perimeter. And on the low post, both G and Gandy playing with 4-5. 3:35 remaining. Providence already a winner today over Duke. And they await the winner of this game in Birmingham in the Sweet 16. Young, the senior from Norfolk. Played with and practiced against the likes of Allen Iverson. The biggest of names, Young making a name. And we will be back. There are 14 seeds through 16 seeds. They've had some first-round wins. No 16 has ever done it. The last to go through to the Sweet 16, Kevin Mackey's team, Cleveland State, ultimately losing to Navy. If you're wondering about the lowest seed to ever make it to a Final Four, Dale Brown's LSU Tigers that very same year in 1986 in Dallas.
For our viewers, let me explain what I mean and what constitutes a box-and-one defense. One defender for UT Chattanooga plays Kewan Garris man-to-man, and the 4 remaining players play a 4-man zone.
Turner for 3. Taylor runs it down. This is the largest lead for Tennessee Chattanooga, equaling that mark at 8-3 very early in the game. So a hoop here would be very big. Under 3 minutes to play. And a steal by Turner.
Johnny Taylor became a little careless with the basketball. Good offensive players always keep their body between the basketball and the defensive player. That time, Johnny Taylor exposed the basketball. UT Chattanooga, 2-1-2 zone.
Mike McCarthy earning his stripes today with a changing defense. Another error in the open floor. Young specialty to Connor. They may be singing, "Pardon Me Boys," is that the Chattanooga Choo-Choo headed to the Sweet 16. Illinois not scoring a field goal in the last 7.5 minutes. They'll have to come up with something right here.
When applied correctly, can force the ball handler into poor body position. Here we watch Kewan Garris as he loses balance in an attempt to regain a good offensive position.
The size of Taylor, really the difference there. And Mac McCarthy told us he would float some bigger people on Kewan, and that time it was the difference in that turnover.
Well, and not only has the size become a factor in defending Kewan Garris, but the rotation of players has started to wear him down.
An 8-minute drought from the floor for Illinois. They must solve it here. Garris. Gandy trying to keep it alive. Loose ball to Connor. As UT Chattanooga out to give their coach a win that would tie him in becoming the winningest coach in the history of the Southern Conference, and would mark a place in history for the league itself as being the first ever entry into the Sweet 16 by a Southern Conference team. Illinois choosing not to foul. Shot clock winding down. Young, this is his time. Over the back as he tried to keep it alive, and that's his 5th. So Willie Young fouls out with 1:17 remaining. You see the timeout story. UT Chattanooga Near the 20, 2 fulls. Ron Kruger can stop it a couple of times. Young leaves the game with 15 points and 3 assists. And Johnny Taylor, the first to come over and give him a hug. It was Taylor, you'll recall, that was on the bench the last 2 minutes of the win over Georgia, and it was Young that had to make the plays to ensure a second-round opportunity for the Mocs. Be just the opposite today. But you really can't say enough about the complimentary plays, particularly Chris Mims, the senior from Union Springs, Alabama, number 34 in blue, has been a real difference.
If there was ever a moment in UT basketball history and in the basketball life of Chris Mims when he had to play to his maximum ability level, it was today.
Suddenly the iron unkind at the free throw line to a young man that shoots at an 80% clip. Heldman gets one of the two, 66-60.
All right, so we'll watch this game for you and keep you up to date on the finish of that. But 2 other games about to begin in Pittsburgh, Coppin State, and Texas. About to get underway there. And out in Tucson in the West, Wake Forest meets Stanford. We'll have those games for you after this message and a word from your local station. Hope you're enjoying our exclusive coverage of the NCAA tournament here on CBS.
View the outstanding performance by this UT Chattanooga basketball team and an outstanding coaching job by Mac McCarthy.
We mentioned it earlier, tutored under Sonny Smith as an assistant coach. Had an opportunity to get the Auburn job when Cliff Ellis came over from Clemson. He's been there a dozen years, and he's very high on the opportunities and the program that exists, but this is an opportunity for the rest of college basketball to understand that UT Chattanooga is on the map and has quality talent.
Tim, a win like this for UT Chattanooga is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it's a great moment for the program, but the curse part is every AD in the country with a vacant job open is going to come after Mac McCarthy.
Such are the times of 1997. Moultrie picking up the all-time conference record for wins in the most important game in the history of the institution, trying to make it in to the round of Young now can rest easy. In the all-time Tennessee Chattanooga scoring list, 1,048 points. Turner off the dribble. And the drought continues for Illinois from the floor. Not scoring a field goal in the last 8 minutes.
I operated.
How do you make a...
For any young man to go through. The moment is Max for the Mocs.
In the West, Jim Nance and Billy Packer courtside, and there's Mike Montgomery, the head coach for Stanford in his 11th season. Tenacious coach that has a strong squad this year featuring Sauer, Tim Young, the 7-footer, Weems, Lee, and All-America Breva Knight in the starting lineup. Dave Odom with an 11-6 record in the NCAA tournament as the head coach at Wake Forest, his 8th year overall. Ricky Perall with Sean Allen, All-America Tim Duncan, Jerry Braswell, and Tony Rutland, the starters for Wake Forest. O'Neal, Sylvester, and Day will...
Jim, one thing ought to jump out right away, and that's there is a mismatch situation in this game. Which team will get control of the mismatch first? Stanford starting 3 guards, Wake Forest starting a power lineup.
Duncan and Young, the matchup inside. Young may have gotten a hand on that. That was a wildly thrown attempt by Tim Duncan. Here's Breva Knight penetrating. Flips it over. Young shot just falls off the rim, and Duncan sweeps it away.
He talked about quickness of feet that Colson did not have in the first game for UNC Charlotte. We see that Knight has not lost any speed.
Corner, Rutland, in and out. Young with the rebound.
And of course, if you're Dave Odom, you want to see your guards get off early with the jump shots. Rutland came out of a miserable slump with an outstanding basketball game against St. Mary. Duncan on a hedge move.
Young back in, now turn around over Duncan. Duncan second forward.
In 86. And the first ever from the Southern Conference. They're on their way to Birmingham. From the Queen City on to Birmingham for UT Chattanooga. Our Chevrolet players of the game, Chris Mims, a double-double for him, and Kewan Garris, 19 points and 3 boards. Our brackets are complete. And the Chattanooga Choo-Choo will roll into the state of Alabama to take on Providence. Kansas, the top seed and the favorite, will take on Arizona. George Raveling, Tim Brando saying so long for the final time in Charlotte. It truly has been special. Pat O'Brien and Clark Kellogg will come your way from the New York studios right after this.